need you to take my hand because we are going to walk through the dark together. The Supreme Court decided to take up the birthright citizenship case. That means at least 4 Supreme Court justices believe there is something to discuss when there is nothing to discuss. Ideally, they would have declined to hear this case, and that would have ended it right there. But instead of taking the correct path, they took one more step in the wrong direction. So let's just take the rest of the steps together right now, so we can stop the panic spiral and get to where we're thinking about what comes next. Now, of course, just because they took up the case doesn't mean they're going to side with Trump. They still have to actually have arguments. And we know we've got 3 votes on our side, and I think John Roberts will choose the correct side as well, which means we only need one of Barrett, Kavanaugh, and Gorsuch to side with history and the future to put this behind us for good. Worth noting, it's a goddamn crime that Alito and Thomas just get a pass. But even though the correct path is still visible, this is way too close for comfort for something that is plainly written into the Constitution. So let's talk worst case scenario. Worst case scenario here is that the Supreme Court decides that the 14th Amendment does not specifically guarantee citizenship to children who are born to 2 undocumented immigrants. What happens next? The first thing is plain. The government will stop issuing citizenship documentation to new babies who are born to parents who cannot prove that one of them is either a citizen or a legal permanent resident. If either biological parent is a citizen or a legal permanent resident, citizenship would still be granted per Donald Trump's executive order, but at that point, it's just an executive order that he could change at any time. Which means if the Supreme Court sided with Trump, they would have to define in the majority opinion what the 14th Amendment does guarantee, because leaving it in a state where Donald Trump's executive order decides who's a citizen is obviously not a sustainable path, and I think even this Supreme Court would understand that. The second thing we would have to call out is that this does not create a new law. The Supreme Court doesn't create laws, they clarify and define laws. So in this case, they would be narrowing the definition of birthright citizenship in the 14th Amendment. What the Supreme Court could not do is say that it is illegal or unconstitutional to give birthright citizenship to children of undocumented immigrants. In other words, federal law could still solve for this. So if this worst case scenario comes true, and if this Supreme Court allows Donald Trump to deny citizenship rights to hundreds of thousands of children born in 2025 and all children born in the future to undocumented immigrants, our assignment becomes all the more clear. This would feed the conviction the left so desperately craves. We have fucked around and tiptoed around our commitment to human rights for too goddamn long. We didn't really punish the South after the Civil War. We didn't punish the South after segregation. We never codified Roe v. Wade. We have never effectively punished hate groups. And we were too soft and too easy on the people who orchestrated January 6th. Now this Trump administration and this Supreme Court is the culmination of an infection of hate that this country has ignored for too goddamn long. But the values of the left, these are American values. This is what our founders envisioned and what our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents fought for in World War II. Real Americans have always known that the American dream has nothing to do with race, gender, ethnicity, or religion. The American dream is about the individual commitment to work hard and build something better with your community, in spite of the artificial barriers that the right wants to leverage to divide us. And we let it get so bad so long that at this point there's only one option left. Because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty fucking sick of being embarrassed to call myself an American. So we have only one choice. Sweep the House, sweep the Senate, sweep the White House. Fight every race and win every race at every level all of the time, and fight unrelentingly at every level all of the time to codify every single goddamn right that we ever took for granted, either with federal law or even better with amendments, so we can finally remember what it feels like and tell the rest of the world what it means to be an American.